Hi Cliff fans and welcome to another one of my Cliff album reviews, and today I'm going to review another great album. This one's called The Rock Connection, which was released in 1984 and it wasn't a big hit. It only got scraped into the charts, hit the album charts. I think it reached number 43 in the album charts and only lasted 5 weeks on the album chart. But fabulous album. I think the reason why it wasn't a big hit because a lot of the songs featured on this album were previously released on other Cliff releases. And I'll go through the tracks now. Opens with Heart User, which was a single, and the single only reached number 46 in the charts and only lasted 3 weeks in the charts as well, in the singles charts. It's still a great track. I still love the track. Cliff hasn't really performed it probably because it wasn't a big hit, but it's kind of in the same vein as Never Say Die from the year before. It's a very similar song written by Terry Britton. The next track is Willie and the Handjive, which is a revamp of the 1960 Cliff and the Shadows with Willie and the Handjive, and this is kind of an 80s version, which is quite good. It's not as good as the original in my opinion. Followed by Lovers and Friends, which I first heard on a Cliff VHS called Rockin' Australia. It was a concert that I had on video years ago, which I absolutely love, and this song is performed in that Lovers and Friends. So I was really excited when I finally got around to buying this album. I probably bought this album first in the early 90s, but that was one of the songs I really wanted to have, and Lovers and Friends. Followed by Never Be Anyone Else But You, which is one of them songs that was, it's a cover of Ricky Nelson's song from the 50s, and like a couple of other tracks on this album were featured a year before on Cliff's Rock and Roll Silver album. So the diehard fans would have had all these songs already. So yeah, another reason why this album wasn't a big hit. But it's a great version. I love the Cliff's version of Ricky Nelson's Never Be Anyone Else But You. Next song is a gospel song called Love and Half, written by Cliff. And I know this one does good when I do polls on ask fans on my Cliff Richard Facebook page, what's their favourite song written by Cliff. This always does well. Love and Half. It's a gospel song written by Cliff, followed by another song that was written by Cliff with his keyboard player Dave Cook at the time, and it's called Over You, which is a good 80s pop song. Followed by the single Shooting From the Heart, which was a great video, released as a single, wasn't a big hit again. Where did it feature? It only got to number 51 in the charts, even though it was a great single, and I think it is a good song. It wouldn't be my favourite on the album, but it was released as a single. It was a great song. It was also featured on the Rockin' Australia, as was the next song, was the open track on side 2, Learning How to Rock and Roll, which is another song I was decided to get this album for. The next 3 songs, Lucille, Bebopalula and Donna, were also all featured on Rock and Roll Silver album, and when I do a review on that album I'll go into them songs in more depth. The next song is Dynamite, which was the B-side to Dreamin', and it was Alan Tarney's production of Cliff's 1959 B-side to Traveling Light Dynamite, which is a great 80s version of Dynamite. Love it. The next song is probably my favourite song on this entire album. It's a duet with Phil Everly and it's called She Means Nothing to Me, which is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, that is definitely my favourite song on this album. And the last song was written by Cliff's band at the time. His band was called Thunder. It's a lot of 80s Cliff fans will remember Cliff had a backing band called Thunder, and they wrote this Making History, which is just a great little rock and roll type song about being on stage and having the lights in your face and everything, like getting ready to rock out in the show. So I'd probably give this album, because a lot of the tracks were previously released on other albums, I would give this album about a 7 out of 10. Please leave your comments below. I'd like to hear your favourite tracks. And thank you and have a fantastic day.